So the question is, can revelation happen? And so it seems to me that if you start out with the assumption that there's no such thing as revelation, I don't think you can get very far in understanding the Bible. You just can't take the Bible seriously, because the Bible is talking about revelation all over the place. And it's one thing to say, well, the Bible said, Nathan claims that Yahweh told him that David was not to build the temple. It's one thing to say, Nathan claims that, but of course we modern people don't believe in supernatural revelation, so that couldn't have been the case. That is at least honest. That's bad, but it's honest. But what's even worse is to say, well, the scripture must not mean that Nathan actually got a supernatural word from the Lord. It must mean something else. Or if the miracle at the Red Sea is being described, well, the Bible must mean that they crossed the Red Sea at a place where it was shallow and they waded through, and then when the Egyptian chariots came, they got stuck in the mud, and that stopped them. In other words, to try and interpret the Bible as if it wasn't making supernatural, miraculous claims about revelation and about miracles, to me, that's just not honest. Give me an honest atheist who says, I just don't believe in God and miracles any day, over a dishonest historical critic who pretends to believe the Bible while denying what it says. I mean, that to me is just not, like, the reason I would prefer the honest atheist is then the honest atheist has to own the implications of his denial of the revelation and the supernatural. But the historical critic is trying to have it both ways. He's trying to have the comforts of believing in God while denying the existence of the supernatural. The atheist, when he says, well, I don't believe in God or miracles, then you can say to him, well, okay, so if you don't believe in God, then you believe that when we die, we just stay in the ground, our bodies just rot, and that's the end of us, right? That's an uncomfortable belief to take. Like the atheist is sort of cornered at that point. He doesn't want to say that, but that's what his logic is driving him to. Whereas the other side, the liberal historical critic, tries to have it both ways. Oh, yes, I believe in the afterlife, but I also disbelieve in miracles. That's just not intellectually honest. So I guess the issue of inspiration comes down to, do we take the Bible seriously and what it says and have respect for what it says? And that is what I think any good interpreter has to do. Like, I don't think this is a rule that applies to interpreting any book. If you are the first most basic rule of good interpretation is to let the text say what it really says and then deal with it. But don't try to make the text say the opposite of what it says, because that fits better into your worldview.